How did you get to New York City?
Oh man, I drove. No, I wanted to do comedy. Like, so this has always been the place to be, and I always wanted to live here since I was a little kid. It was like I have always been like super drawn to here. Where are you from?
I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Western PA, right near Ohio.
Oh, what part?
Erie?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They've got comedy in Erie, Pennsylvania, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, because like I moved here in 2017, I think.
Okay.
Yes, 2017. Just with like a minivan full of my shit and my cats, and was like, all right. And I lived in a bunch of condemned places, and now I've got a home. So it's huge. Yeah.
You were telling me before you started recording, you're from Atlanta? Or
Yeah.
you worked in Atlanta?
Yeah. So I grew up in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then I started comedy when I was 22 in Atlanta, and then left when I was 25, almost 26. And I've been here since, and it's weird. Atlanta doesn't really feel like home anymore. It doesn't look the same. I don't know anybody anymore. Like all of my friends either moved here or LA, and the ones that are still there, like I just don't see it as much, I guess. Yeah, it's a bummer, but have you spent time down there?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not the same as it used to be. I feel like it's become it's lost a lot of its character since I left, it feels like. And I'm going to take full responsibility for that, but it's just, I don't know, it looks like any other city in the US now, whereas it used to be kind of its own thing.
What got you into comedy in the first place when you were 22? What was the motivation?
Well, I mean, I always loved stand-up. I've had the same best friend since I was like 14 years old, and we used to drive around in high school and like smoke cigarettes and listen to like Mike Birbiglia and whatever, you know. And then from there, like I got really into like the Mark Maron thing, and I watched him obsessively and was like, oh, I could do this. Because like I don't know, I like found Mr. Show when I was like 13, and that broke my brain knowing that David Cross was another guy from Atlanta. It's like, oh, there is a real career here, and that made me think that it was like a thing. I remember like, but when I heard Maron, I was like, oh, I think like this. And if this is what he's doing, like I could do something like this. And then my best friend started doing stand-up when he went to college. And he came home for Thanksgiving, took me to an open mic. And I was like watching really bad comedy. And I was like, oh, I can definitely do this. And that was that. And I haven't stopped since.
Did you get a sense pretty quickly when you started doing the work that this resonated with you? This was something you enjoyed, you wanted to get better at?
Well, it's funny. I did comedy for like, I feel like I didn't really like start working, like actually working on being a better comedian until like 7 years in. I think a big thing that drew me to stand-up was like I was a raging alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I mean, by the end of my drinking, I was doing like 18 a night. I was like a really bad drunk, and Atlanta, particularly in that time, really enabled dirtbag behavior in a way that I don't think it does anymore. I think I just got in this pocket where like everyone that was doing it was like at a certain age. And it was when comedy was way more DIY. It wasn't as widespread and wasn't as like cool. And the people that did it were pirates. And so it would be like, you know, my favorite show in Atlanta was a fun show, and it is a good show. I didn't see much of it. Any time I was there, I was in the back, like smoking pot, doing cocaine and drinking and like hanging out with my friends. And that was like all under the guise of comedy, right? Like I wanted to be good, but I was so drunk and I was way more focused on having a good time. And I was way more focused on like trying to be a comedian off stage than on.
The lifestyle.
I always liked riffing. I always liked, you know, being a guy at the party, but I also liked being the drunkest person everywhere I was. And once I stopped drinking, it was like I had 7 years of experience that I just did not know how to use. And once I quit, I was like, oh shit, I do know how to do this. I just have to like refocus my energy into, you know, like getting better as opposed to just being fine. You know, I was always passable, but I was never like, I never felt like I was great. And I always wanted to be great at it, but didn't feel like I could give myself that chance.
How did you get to the point where you decided it was time to stop drinking?
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, there were a few things, a lot of things, because it was affecting my health, and like I can finally be like, yeah, dude, it was because like there was a point where I was like pre-diabetic because of all the sugar. I was like 60 pounds heavier.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I dropped like 40 pounds within like 4 months of quitting drinking. Like I really went for it. And the last time I drank, I think it was just like. I had known it was a problem since I started. Like, it was one of those things when I was like 22. I was like, I am either going to have to get sober at some point or I'm going to die. Yeah. And I know that those are the only two things that will happen for me. And I like had accepted and resigned myself to that. And then there was one night, I mean, I remember the last time I drank, I was like tripping balls on mushrooms. I was with my friend John. We went to see Space Jam 2. And I'll never forget this. They're like showing all the previews for the movies, and it's all like previews for kids' movies. And I looked at John, I was like, why are they showing all these kids' previews? And he was like, this is a kid's movie. And I looked around and I was like, oh, fuck, these are all children here. And I just like, I remember waking up because I drank every day. Like I blacked out every day. Wow. And I just remember the next morning waking up and being like, I'm not going to do it today. And that just kind of stuck. And it kind of sucks how like much better my life got as quickly as it did. Like within months, it was like, oh, fuck. I can feel myself leveling up on stage. I can see that I'm losing weight every day just by not drinking. Like I can remember things a little bit better. I can like just be a human being. And it like really kind of broke my brain how fast that happened. And that's kind of been, but I still do drugs, and that's the thing. Like, I still party. It's really just booze that fucked me up super bad. And like, I can, I'm a fish guy. I'll go see fish and I'll really go out, but as long as I'm not drinking, I'm not like ruining my life. Yeah. It's way more controlled and it's way less destructive.
Did you feel like when you were in the middle of the hurricane of doing all the substances at the same time, when you were younger, that it was enhancing your creativity, your performance? Were you under that impression?
I was 100% under, because that is what was fed to me at that time. Like when I started like really trying, because basically what happened with me was like I started doing stand-up. And my goal was immediately like, I want to be a road guy. I want to drive around the country doing comedy all over in weird places. Like I've done stand-up in like places that have no business having people in them, let alone comedy. And it's like, I loved that. And a big part of like that was building this myth of, yeah, I'm just this road guy that like, I used to be like, and I knew I was funny on stage enough that it's like if people knew me as the drunk guy that could also be good on stage, people will remember that. And they did. But it's like after a while, it stops being cool. When you're 22, 23, it's like, this is a fun kid that, will... Like, because I knew I had like some sense of... I thought I was the best comedian of all time when I was 23. But like, now I look back and I'm just so embarrassed, but I could always do okay on stage. And people remember that guy. And it like, at some point, like after I stopped drinking, I'd start going back to these places and remember like, oh shit, people expect me to be the drunk guy. Like people want that from me. And it took me a long time to be like, that's not cool when you're in your 30s, or even in your late 20s. It was like, fuck, if I want to like be a serious professional about this, and I do, I really need to get it in check. Because there's just so much more to it than I just can't go out and watch the sun come up every day and then expect myself to be like at my best on stage. Yeah. And that's where like you have to be your best.
And it was obvious when you were really in the middle of all this that you were were drunk on stage. Like there was no question about it.
That was like a big part of that was like my whole personality was like, because I would get to the point where it's like if I would do like hour-long sets on the road, I had no business being on stage that long at that time anyway. So to like compensate, I'd be like the guy that was ordering drinks from the stage. And like really, that was like my thing. It's like I'm going to take 3 shots on stage and people would like react to that because I didn't have material and the stuff I had wasn't very good. And you're playing in these like shitty little bars in the middle of nowhere where everybody's already wasted. It's like at that point, this was like how I knew how to connect with people. And that like I don't really do crowd work anymore because like I did it for so long. Just getting to know people while being drunk was like my entire act for so long. And that only takes you so far because, you know, you go to a club, the guy doing crowd work every time just isn't writing material. And it's like the job is to write your thoughts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what makes comedy good is like, it's not a conversation. It can be, but it's not by default. That's what a podcast is for. That's what like other forms of entertainment are for. But I don't know. It feels lazy to me now.
Yeah. Did you ever need to go to rehab or AA or anything?
Yeah.
You did?
Well, so I went to, because he was, my thing was like, I would like just latch on to something really shitty that was going on and justify it as like, if I can get this under control, the rest of it won't happen. Like I went to a detox when I was 23 accidentally. Like I went looking for a therapist and they were like, how are you coping with the breakup I was going through? I was like, well, I'm drinking every day. And they were like, well, you're not leaving here anymore. And so like I wound up doing detox, but that didn't work. AA didn't work for me. And that's not to say it doesn't work for people. I know it works for people. And I think I went for a long time and I think it's great. But like, I don't know. I think that what works for me isn't necessarily what works for everybody. I probably could have gone to a detox this last time, but I just didn't. And it was like right around the time COVID was ending, but not quite fully open. And I just remember being like, all right, I'm going to kind of cool down on my own and just not go out for a little bit. And that led to, all right, I'm going to go out. Well, I have to do these spots that I have. And then I think seeing how much better my stand-up got was enough for me to be like, you can't go back to that. You just can't. And until like the world gets to a place where it's like really at the end, I'm not gonna, but that is absolutely the contingency plan still.
I mean, it seems like you had your own natural incentive built in. Like you could see all the things you were saying about how your life was improving.
I mean, like I was in relationships that I just don't remember.
That's so crazy.
It's like I dated a woman for 10 months when I was 27 that I do not remember. And it's just wild. And like, it does get to a point where it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm waking up drunk because I've been drinking all night. I'm going to work in my tech job or whatever. And I'm wondering why I can't break anything, why I can't like get anything to work. And as soon as I stopped, it was like, oh yeah, this is all it took. But yeah.
I'd love to hear about the initial segue when you moved, because you moved from Atlanta to New York. What did you have lined up here in terms of comedy work, if anything?
Not really work so much as like, it's so different now, man. Like, when did you move here?
Last year.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, I'm new. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Welcome, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it here.
It's the best. It's like, I will die here. It's the only place I ever want to live in the United States, at least. But it's like, there used to be the Creek and the Cave, which is now in Austin.
That's right. Yeah, that's where I moved from.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, so... The Creek used to be up here in Long Island City.
I didn't know that.
Dude, it was like the reason to move here.
Really?
Yes, because from 11 a.m. when they opened until like 4 a.m. when they like closed, you could be there you didn't have to buy anything. You didn't have to there was just a place to go, which does not exist anymore because like I could go in there at 1 p.m. and I know I'm going to see somebody, and they start doing open mics in the basement like at 3 p.m, 2 p.m. or whatever. And those go till literally 2 a.m. And then they have a showroom upstairs where you would see like incredible comics that just like started at the Creek, where it's like they would just do their shit there and people would really do like art, and it was awesome. I saw like Sean Patton do some of the best stand-up I've ever seen at the Creek and the Cave at like 11 p.m. to 0 people. Yeah. And that was like the big thing. So I would move up there, and then you could also drink cheap. It was like the cheapest place to drink for comics. So you'd go there and just party all day. And like, so there were already a couple of comics that had moved from Atlanta to here and like found some success. Like Andy Sanford like did Conan and was like, yeah, you got to come up here. Like Atlanta had started to pop off, and I knew at that point, like, I cannot progress if I stay here. And I just kind of like hopped up, and I moved into this place in Bushwick that was literally condemned while I was living in it. Didn't have heat, didn't have hot water. We got a snowstorm in, and it like got into the apartment. So we had like 2 inches of snow in my apartment one day. Like, it was horrible, but the whole thing was like, this is New York, baby. This is what I do it for. And I was still going out on the road and doing these like runs in the Midwest, like Duluth, Minnesota, and La Crosse, Wisconsin, like little places to try and convince myself that I was like a legitimate comedian. And that was, I don't know, that happened for a couple of years. And then when COVID hit, it was like, all right, I guess everybody's done. We're just kind of living life now without comedy. And I thought it was going to be like, I didn't think I'd miss it as much as I did. And then, I don't know, after COVID, it felt like I had really moved to New York. It was just like my first 3-4 years here was just like blacking out and doing poppers in Bushwick bars and being like, no, it's all for the material, and not writing anything. You know, it was just like an excuse to party. But yeah.
And you finally gave up alcohol.
Yeah.
When? Like what?
It's been like 4.5 years.
Okay. So right around COVID time? Like
right. Towards so? I guess like 2021.
Okay.
Because it was just like when comedy came back, I was like so grateful to have it. A big part of it was like, it can go away again. And if it does, I don't want to have nothing to show for it. And it just kind of like sparked a ton of shit where I was like, I have to record an album. I have to get past at the Comedy Cellar. I have to do this, that, and the other. And like, I just didn't have that drive beforehand. And I know if I was still drinking, I wouldn't have been able to do any of it.
How were you surviving? Maybe we can do a pre-COVID analysis of like that journey of moving into the Bushwick apartment with 2 inches of snow with no heat. How did you pay your bills? How did you have the
Temp
money?
jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all temping, and then I got a job at a startup doing customer service. And that just kind of like led to finding more customer service jobs where I was like, I really don't have to put in that much effort here. You know, I can just vape in the fucking office and be fine and pretend to do work and then do stand-up at night. And like, I wasn't living well by any, I'm still not living well. Like, I'm still living, I think I'm doing worse now than I was when I moved here. Like, I just, I don't know what, I really couldn't tell you how I was not surviving. I was like, I think it was just because I was drunk all the time. I couldn't tell, you know, like, in my head, I was like, well, this is what everybody's doing. And then I'd be watching people pass me by and still be telling myself, this is what you got to do. This is how it is. Remember, you're either going to die drunk or you're going to have to get sober at some point. So either which way, there's not much you can do right now.
You said earlier in the conversation that when you were 22, I think this is what you said, that you thought you were the best comic.
I think everybody thinks that. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and I don't know how you think about that now, but what did you notice you had in terms of skills and talent that maybe you still feel that like has given you the confidence to keep going?
Delusion. I mean, it's all delusion, right? Like, so much of starting stand-up is really believing that you are better than you are, because if you didn't, you wouldn't do it, right? Like, the idea that you have to first tell yourself, like, okay, I'm funny. That's the first thing you got to believe, whether you are or not. Second is like, I'm funny enough to make people laugh outside of, in like a forced situation. And then you have to really believe that you're doing it well, or that like you will be able to do it well. Now, and like with that comes the ego, right? Like of shit, if I can do this, I must be great. Like, at least back then it was like, well, how many people are actually doing this? How many people are actually trying to be comedians? And like, I got in right at like, I think I got in right before it like popped and became like a massive thing. And so it was like, you're in this small community of people that you're all bad, but none of you realize it because you're all like only doing open mics in bars for 4 people every night. Like, you think that you're good because you have no idea. You have no real gauge. And in your head, it's like, well, if there were 20 more people in here, I would have killed. It's, but I could make these 4 people laugh. I must be the best at it. And it's like, it's just all delusion. Whereas now I think I have like, it's so much different where like I have the validation of, I know I'm good at it now because I have X, Y, and Z to like look back on, and I can always be like, you got this. Yeah. And this is something that not many people doing stand-up
There's some evidence.
Get. Totally. And now it's just like, how do you grow from that? And how do you, I just don't want to be a guy doing the same hour for years and years and years. And I don't want to be a guy who's getting worse. And I don't want to be a guy who's like just pissed off at everything. I think like a lot of it is trying to, like a lot of being better now for me is just being more open to sharing more on stage. Right. Like, and I think like, as you do stand-up, you slowly chip away at all the fear you have about yourself. And I think the goal now is to just chip away as much as you can and be as honest as you can on stage. Whereas it used to be, I want laughs and I want this and that. It's like, how can I like really explore what I feel on stage in a funny way? And that is like what I think makes great comics.
I'd love to dig into that of what you love about the art. I mean, as a consumer, as someone who is such a fan.
Well, like who are your guys?
I mean, I try to go to the Cellar or the Village Underground at least once a week if I can. Okay. So I know the names that you've mentioned, and it's the honesty combined with the perceptiveness of very socially astute, articulate, great writers who are willing to put themselves in a position of talking to total strangers that I really admire.
Well, you know what? I do think of it a lot like I think a lot of people that like stand-up are also the people that are like, oh yeah, it's like gonzo journalism, right? Yeah. It's very much, this is how I live my life and I'm reporting it back to you in a way that you haven't, that you are all feeling, but you're not thinking. And I think that, like, so my best friend is, do you know Michael Rowland?
Yes. So I've actually met him a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So he's the guy that took me to my first open mic and everything.
What a small world.
Yeah, dude, he's my best friend in the world. And it's like, I also happen to think he is like one of the best comedians.
He's great.
He's amazing. Yeah. And like seeing how he has always kind of been my like, North Star is the wrong word, but like I have a very unhealthy sense of, I used to have an unhealthy sense of competition with him because it's like, we went to high school together. We grew up 5 miles apart. Like we started around the same time and he got better way faster because it's like he started to realize like if I can be honest on stage, people do relate to this and they do see this. And it's like, I think there's a lot to be said for observational comedy, but I don't think it hits the same, it doesn't resonate the same way. And I don't think people connect with it the same way. And I think that's why like Pryor was so important, right? It's why all like Louis was so important. Like the more you can reveal about yourself, the more people will see it and the more people will connect. And that's what's fun to me now. And that's what keeps me going is like, at the end of the day, like everyone doing stand-up is learning about themselves in real time. Like that's what it is. And it's not that comedy's therapy so much. I guess it can be therapeutic, but like really it's just you learn who you are based on what you talk about on stage. And the ones that do it really well are the ones that I think are great. Yeah.
I would love to go to the point after COVID is over. I mean, it sounds like in the way you described it, it was almost like it had to be taken away from you for you to realize it and appreciate and commit yourself to it in a new way.
Yes.
I don't know if you think that's a fair assessment.
I think that's totally, because I think comedy is unique in the fact that it's not like an office job where you start off being a working person there, right? Like it is this thing that you have to continue to work at, like without any validation for so long. And because of that, I think that you really connect with the people you're doing it with because you're all in the shit together. And that also becomes your social life. So not only is it like the thing you're pursuing, but this is the thing where you see all of your friends. This is the thing that you build your norms around. And when it all gets taken away, it's not just comedy, right? This is how I've interacted with other people for the last decade.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that anymore. I don't have like a friend group outside of comics. And it didn't register to me that like, yeah, I see my friends every night of the week. Most people don't.
Absolutely.
And
not, yeah.
that didn't really hit me until I was like 2 weeks without going to a show and just seeing all my buds. It's like, fuck, this is different. This is definitely different. And I just don't want to lose it again. Especially now that it's like, it does feel like it's, at least for me, at a place where like I'm really excited about doing stand-up again in a way that I haven't been in a long time. And I just don't want to lose that.
The steps you took to recommit to just go after it with a greater intensity, it sounds like, than you had before. What did you do? Like, what were the steps you made?
Because like it used to be in my head, I was like, as long as I get on stage every night, I'm doing the work. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trying new things. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like exploring or like trying. It doesn't mean I'm trying. I'm just getting on stage and doing the like, I'm going through the motions. Whereas now it's like, I think I spend so much time trying to look like a comedian where it's like, now I'm like, I don't give a fuck if I have notes on stage. Like, I am trying to generate new shit every time. I'm trying to like put myself in a hole every time just so I can see if I can get out of it. I'm trying to like get better as opposed to I'm trying to be more intentional, really. Like, I would rather have a big notebook on stage with these ideas that I'm not going to fuck up, if it means that I'm going to get something better out of it. Whereas it used to be like, doesn't matter if I like actually finish my joke. I got on stage tonight. And I think it's just different than it used to be. It used to really be like, it just wasn't, I guess the thing is you didn't really have like social media to see everybody and what they were doing. So you took things for fact when someone older than you told you that was the fact, right? Like, doesn't matter what you do, just get on stage. It's like such shitty advice. It's like, why don't you tell me like, hey, maybe work on something new every time you get on stage. Maybe like try and tighten this. Maybe try and do that, as opposed to it doesn't matter what you do. I think I got a lot of bad advice when I started, and that was kind of it. And that fed the lifestyle more than the work.
So you're kind of taking it more seriously, like a genuine attempt to improve the craft of your work.
Yeah, well, it's like, if you want it to be your job and your career, you have to treat it like a job and a career. It's like, you can have all the fun you want, but at the end of the day, it's like, there's a reason that people don't succeed. And there's a reason that people don't know how to get out of their own way. It's like, you have to take it seriously enough where people take you seriously to do it. You know, it's like simple shit. I think so many people are so focused on like, and myself included, the first like 7 years I did stand-up, whatever. It's like, you can't just be sending funny emails to bookers and hoping that they are like, well, we'll get this guy. It's like, no, dude, do the work, make a press kit, look like a professional, do the shit that like if you had a manager or an agent that they would do for you. Like, there's a reason that these people exist, and you can do a lot of it yourself. And if you do, people will take you more seriously. You know, people are more likely to watch your set that you send them if you frame it as a real email as opposed to, what's up, dog? Check this shit out. Like, they just lose respect. And I don't know, this is an industry of connections and an industry of like not burning bridges.
Yeah. It's also a business.
It is a business. And I think that it's very easy to lose sight of that. I think the reason I love living in New York is you can do the business part of comedy and also do the artistic side of it. Like, you can go to these weird shows and do whatever you want to do. And there's a place for that. But there's also a place for, hey, these people came in from, you know, France and they've built their vacation around coming to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Like, you do have a responsibility to those people when you perform there to kill. And
I'd love to learn the story about how you got past at the Comedy Cellar. I know a little bit about how that process works, but I'd love for you to share that story.
I mean, so here's the thing. I am driven entirely by spite. That's something that like I do know about myself. Like, I am at my best when I am furious with somebody that I think wronged me. Basically, this guy I've known for fucking ever didn't shake my hand once, and I was like, fuck this guy, fuck you, I have to be better than you, I have to like progress career-wise. And I called up Michael, and I really did not want to ask him for a Cellar recommendation, because like I just did not want to compromise our friendship. And this guy didn't shake my hand, and I was like, hey man, I think I'd like to go audition. So he wrecked me. And then, do you know Greg Stone?
Yeah, I know the name. Yes, I do know him.
Greg was my other rec. And basically, like, you set up you email Esty, the booker.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and you gotta be polite. I was like, hey, hi, my name's Max. I've been recommended by these two people. Here's a clip. Would love a chance to audition. And you go, and basically you do 5 minutes, and they set you up so you're on like the hottest show. It's like, I think I auditioned like Friday at 7 p.m. Wow. So it was like, you are set up to succeed. Like, they do not put you in a situation that's like shitty. And if they do, you still have to be able to figure it out, I think. But you just go, and like, I hit a point, like, I was so nervous. And the second I stepped on that stage, like, Greg told me something that really kind of like resonated hard. He was like, dude, I think he was like, consider that maybe 3% of everybody that does comedy gets to audition, and 1% maybe gets past. So you've already gotten to this point. And I did my audition, and I felt like I was like, I'm doing as well as I can. If she doesn't want me and she doesn't think I'm for this place, fine.
You can live with that.
I can live with that, because I do know that I like crushed my audition. And at the end of the day, like, it is so subjective, and not every booker is going to want you for their room, and that makes sense. And basically, oh man, do you know Ethan Simmons Patterson?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Ethan was like there, and I go up and I just like hug him. I see Esty next to me, and she's like, all right, she's like, all right, go upstairs. And I don't know what that means at all. And I'm just sitting waiting for like 5 minutes, like pissing my pants, just like, she hates me. And then she sits down, and like, she's like, all right, no promises, but we're going to try you out. And that was kind of it. And then it's like, all right, she just gives you all these spots at all these times. Like, you'll get hot shows at McDougal, and then you'll get the 2 a.m. spot in the lounge. And it's like, people call it the Boneyard, that show, because it's so fucking hard. But it's like, I don't know. I think that like if you can't deliver in all of those rooms, because they are all very different, they feel so different, then like she will stop booking you. It feels like, I don't know. I think that it is kind of the place where you learn that you have to be professional, and you can't just phone it in, because every audience is different, and a big part of the job is reading the audience that you're performing for. So
if I understand this correctly, your audition is a live performance in front of live people. It's not like an SNL audition where it's a dark room with a few people judging you.
No. You are on a show. So like, basically you get slotted in between. I think I went third on the show. I remember I went in between Jocelyn Chia and Jim Norton. And that was the thing. Like, that was the other thing. It's like, while I was on stage, I see Jim Norton's bald head like in the fucking hallway. And all I can think of is like, holy shit, Jim Norton is going after me. This is as good as I ever need it to be. And I think that like acceptance has helped me a lot in a huge way, because it's like, I'm much more understanding. If someone says no to me, it's not that they're saying like, you're bad. And I've been able to accept that in the last couple of years. And I think that is a big reason I'm able to keep going.
Being passed what does that exactly provide to you? Is it just more opportunities that can be revoked at any time?
Yes. Well, it's tough, because it's like, being passed does mean that like, you can do spots there. And that is how a lot of people make their living, is spots at the Cellar.
Yeah.
Like, my roommate right now is totally living off Cellar spot. Do you know Adam Gilbert?
Yeah, I just saw him the other night. Yeah. I was there on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. He's the best. Yeah. I love him. But, but then it also becomes like a couple things. It is cachet. It is like, I can go to other places that I couldn't go previously and be like, hey, I'm a Cellar comedian, book me in Des Moines, Iowa or whatever. But it's also, it's just like, it's the best comedy club. It is the best. And like, I do think that you can like find tags, you can find jokes that you wouldn't have found before there that you just can't do elsewhere. Like, there is a certain expectation that it is the best comedy club, and I think audiences treat it that way. And because of that, it's not that you like can't try new stuff. It's that you learn how to, in the moment, write at a higher caliber, I think, just because you have to. And if you lose an audience at the Cellar, it's like, good luck getting them back, because now you have to reappeal to people from 15 different countries that don't speak the same language. And that's really hard to do. And it's really hard to get them back once you've lost them from something like that. I just think, all in all, the best part of the Cellar is it just makes you a better comic. And I think it's really hard to recognize that until you do stand up anywhere else. Yeah.
When you finally got in there, for you, was that like making it to the NBA? I mean, that it was like you had really arrived, and this is what you were kind of shooting for all along?
Totally. Because that was like one of the first goals, is like I wanted to do Just for Laughs, I wanted to do Conan, and I wanted to get in the Comedy Cellar. Those were like the three things I wanted when I started. Just for Laughs, when I got in, didn't exist again. And Conan's been canceled. So it's like, this was the last thing. And when it happened, it was like beyond the NBA, it was like, I still don't think I'm funny, right? Like, I still don't. But like, getting in there made me feel like I know how to do the job professionally. And I'm lucky in the fact that like everybody that's there now, well, when I got past everybody that was there, it's like, these are all people I did open mics with in Bushwick. You know, I know everybody here. I feel like I belong here because these are, you know, there are the older comics that, you know, I watched growing up that were there. But like, for the most part, it's like, oh yeah, I'm progressing with my friends that stuck with this. And it took me a while to get there. And I think I would have gotten there way faster had I quit drinking. But like, it was just kind of one of those things. As soon as I got in, it was like, all right, I can not relax, but I can like acknowledge that I'm not nuts for emailing the booker for the Tonight Show anymore. You know, I do have a certain amount of like validation here.
It really is Este's singular decision.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But it's like,
it's worked, obviously.
It's worked. I mean, and I think that like, you know, and I don't know her very well, but she clearly has an eye. And I think what's so cool about the Cellar is that it develops you. I think that a lot of clubs, I think every club in New York does, like, you get in, the first one you get in, they're going to develop the shit out of you, and you learn how to perform for their crowds. And she knows who's going to make her crowds laugh. And I think it's like, it's just a wild thing, because it's all subjective. You could do the same set, kill just as hard at the Cellar as you do at the Stand, but the booker of the Stand might be like, not for me. You know, it really just usually depends on one person. Yeah.
What do you think, if you had to synthesize what they are looking for outside of, or she is looking for outside of just someone who can make a crowd of people laugh consistently, what else do you think is being analyzed and sought after?
Well, she wants to know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that it goes back to being honest on stage. It's like, if in 5 minutes she at least has an idea of who you are as a person, and all while doing that you have been getting laughs every couple seconds, like, that's what she wants, I think. She doesn't want you to be some guy, you know. She wants you to be a great comedian who can really make an impression on people quickly, because that's what she wants, and that's why people remember the comics they see there, is because it's like, you know, there are guys there who aren't big names. Like, I think Lenny Marcus is one of like the funniest people of all time, and you can put him on any show and he is going to destroy, and people remember him. But like, you know, no one knows Lenny outside of the people that see him. Yeah. You know, but the people that do remember him. I was in Phoenix doing shows, and they were like, I saw this guy Lenny Marcus in New York, and it's like, yeah, because he is so fucking good that you remember him, and you know who he is. He's this crotchety guy that's like angry that the Knicks are losing, and like, you know that, and it's awesome. It's awesome. And that's why he's been there for so long. And that's why he'll continue to get work there. Yeah.
What does it take to stay there? Like, you get in and to be able to, like,
that's a whole
your habits, like how I'm very curious about this, about how people, like, you've seemed like you've really transformed your life in a lot of ways. Like, what has it taken for you to maintain the discipline needed to create new material to be good enough to stay there? I'd love to hear about what your habits look like now.
Well, now it's like, I mean, it's changed a lot. I'm writing more now, and I'm trying more things. This has been my big struggle this year. I'm trying to, like, humble myself is the wrong word, but I'm trying to, like, kick my ass into going back to open mics. I got to a point where, like, I just didn't need to go because I was getting enough stage time.
Yeah.
And the thing with the Cellar is, like, she's constantly passing new people, and you're going to have slumps where she doesn't book you at all. And like I've talked to a lot of comics, like, I didn't get a spot for a year, and then all of a sudden I had 6 spots in a week and stuff. Like, because it makes sense. There's constantly new people in there. Excuse me. So, like, after my first year, I got, like, a lot of spots consistently my first year. Excuse me. And then there was, like, 2 months where she didn't book me. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, she hates me. I'm done. I'm never out. Yeah. And then you get the text that's like, hey, these are your spots. Oh shit. Okay. I'm cool. I'm cool. And I think, like, for me, a big part of it is, like, I never want anybody to have a reason not to book me again. And if that is because I'm doing the same act I did the year before, if that's because I'm slower than I was, like, right now, I know what I'm trying to talk about is way more difficult than anything I've ever tried to do. And because of that, I'm not as quick to be like, oh, I'm going to take this to the Cellar. It's like I'm trying really hard to develop material right now in a way that I haven't before. Like, I'm trying really hard to do shit about my mom right now. And I'm trying to do stuff about, like, me and my drinking and stuff that I just never talked about. And, like, the motivation now is is making it funny. That is a big thing for me, because it's like so much. It's like I tried to make my drinking funny while I was drunk and couldn't do it. You know, like, it's really hard to laugh at a guy talking about his drinking when he's, like, dying in front
downward
of you.
Spiraling.
Yeah, it's like he might black out on stage. He might be blacked out right now, and he's trying to make this funny. It's like it's not. And because it's, like, a little bit more delicate and it's a little bit more personal, like, the goal now is to just relearn how to make trauma funny. I did it a little bit when I was younger, and I think that's where I, like, kind of found my stride. And now doing it again is, like, it's fun. It's fun, and that's enough for me to keep going. Like, the fun of it. Yeah, it's all puzzles.
I didn't realize that once you got past, there could be these, like, major peaks and valleys of opportunities to work there. Like, at any given time, roughly how many people are passed as comedians there?
Maybe 100, 150. But, well, past and working are two different things too. True. Right? Like, there are hundreds of people that are past that maybe they don't send their avails in anymore because they, like, I think that's a big part of it. Like, someone told me, they were like, you just got to send your avails. Doesn't matter if she's booking you, send your avails. She wants to see that you will do it every week.
So that's a weekly thing where you send her your availability, and then, you know, you may get booked, you may not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's, I think that's, like, most, hers is weekly, some are monthly. It's just, you know, every club has their own way of doing it, but, like, you just kind of hope that you get spots. And, you know, but she also, I think a reason she expects that if you are past there, you are working. And
outside of those clubs.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, because most of the people there are, like, touring headliners.
Yeah.
And I think that she wants to know that you can work, you know, and I think that a big part of the Cellar is it is a stepping stone. It's not the end. Right. And I think she knows that this is a place where you can develop and get better. So you can do something like start selling out theaters or whatever it is. Like, and she wants to know that you're constantly getting better. And I think that something she does is, like, she'll stop booking you for a while to see, have you written anything new? You know, when she does bring you back in, are you getting better? Are you doing this, that, and the other? And it's like the fun of writing and the motivation of getting better to stay somewhere like that is enough to keep me going.
And she's sort of an ever-present individual at every show?
She's not at every show. Well, that's the other thing.
It's you don't really know, right?
Like, you know that she's going to be at McDougal for the most part.
Okay.
And it's one of those things. I have been on stage where I'm not killing, where I'm like having a very like set, and I'll see her outline and walk down in the hall, and it is like there is a physical reaction to that I cannot. I've never had before of just like, oh shit, there are knives in my spine right now, like vertically, and like I am fucked if I do anything now, and I think she knows that she does that to people, and she wants to see how you react to shit. But like, a big part of it also is like, yeah, but if she stops booking you, that doesn't mean you stop doing comedy, right? I know so many people that are phenomenal comics that are past there that don't get spots, and you know, as long as they're still doing comedy, like, yeah, it's nice to have a place where you can get a bunch of spots and run around and get some money for it and develop, but like, it's so not the only place to do stand-up.
Yeah.
You know?
I am fascinated by the fact that the most common drug in our culture is alcohol.
Yeah.
And that, if I heard you correctly, I mean, that was really the one drug you needed to remove in order to flourish. I'm assuming you're not doing meth and other drugs that would really derail your life.
I mean, well, that's not to say I don't. No, but like, you know, again, I'll go to a Fish concert and I will put whatever is out in my body. Yeah. But like, my life would probably get even better if I stopped smoking weed. But it is like, alcohol was so destructive in a way. Like that's the real problem with weed, right? Like, weed isn't going to ruin my life. And alcohol was. So it was very easy for me to be like, this is bad, I need to remove it. Whereas weed, it's like, why do I have to get rid of this? You know, it's not killing me. But I bet you if I stopped smoking pot, I would be doing even better than I am now. It's, yeah.
How do you think about that difference? So like, how did you have the clarity that it really was alcohol that needed to go?
Well, I really didn't start smoking that much pot until I quit drinking.
Until after. Okay.
Yeah, like, and I wasn't really a drug guy until I got into drugs after booze. Because like, the only times I would smoke pot every now and then when I was drinking, not super heavily. The only times I really ever did coke was like, all right, I want to keep drinking.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of like, I don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped drinking, I was like, I'll start smoking weed instead. And again, like, things started going well. And that's kind of what makes it tricky is like, is weed like helping me or hurting me? I don't know, but things aren't getting worse and they're getting better. It's just, could they be getting even more better?
Yeah.
You know? And that's probably something like that's been my thought process since Saturday? I guess like that's a new one where I'm like, all right, maybe it's time to stop smoking weed too. And you know, the older I get, the more I'm like, I just don't need to be doing this every day. I'm not. That's the best and worst part about New York is it infantilizes you into being like, I can be 16 forever here. Yeah. And you can. It's just, how far is that going to get you? Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the weed is not physically debilitating you in a way.
No, it's like,
alcohol
you know,
probably was.
Yeah. I do hot yoga every day.
Me
like,
too.
Oh, really?
I love it. Yeah.
Dude,
Changed my life.
Same. Yeah. Same. And it's killing me right now. I hurt my back yesterday and I'm so fucking pissed because like I didn't go today and it's like,
you feel it.
Oh my God. Mentally. Like physically, I don't even notice, but like that shit has really grounded me in a way that I did not expect it to. And that's part of it. Like that's part of the routine is like, all right, maybe I don't need to smoke weed. I can just go to hot yoga and make that the new thing. And that'll be that. And it's like, there's always a healthier alternative to what you're doing. Yeah, totally. I don't know. And once, if we'd ever got to a point where I was like, oh shit, I can't remember last night, or oh my God, did I call my ex-girlfriend? Or like, that was the thing. Like outside of comedy, my life was so in shambles that like comedy could not work. It just couldn't because I couldn't keep anything together to save my life. And yeah.
I'd love to hear about what I'm very interested in the role of the comedian in society, and I don't know how much thought you've given to this. But
a lot.
What do you think about the role of a stand-up comic in the world, America? I'd also love to hear about what want to say. I mean, the great comedians, I feel like, have relevant, interesting things to share.
Totally.
And what's on your mind, or what do you want to talk about?
Well, this is where what I think that the role of the comedian is to be a commentator, right? You're a spectator, and what you do is filter out what you see in a way that expresses your point of view. I don't like the idea of comedians being in politics. And I don't like the idea of comedians having this much sway, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're all talking about our dicks and shit. Like, it's like, it should be funny. It should not be this important.
Yeah.
You know, like, I do believe that, like, you know, when I watch Carlin, you know, as a kid, it's like, I could not understand everything he was talking about, but at no point was I like, well, I'm going to, you know, even as an 18, 19-year-old watching it, it's like, well, I'm going to vote for this person because of this person's endorsement. It's like comedians, this is like the you know, the best and worst part about podcasts is that, like, people now treat the people that they listen to as like a legitimate voice in their head. I do it like all the time. Yeah. Like, my inner voice is Mark Maron, you know, because I've listened to him for years. And but like, you know, when I see like Trump going on a podcast, it's like, this is not what we should be doing as comedians. Like, you are supposed to make fun of the man. Yeah. Like, whether or not you agree with him or not, the whole point of comedy is to relate to your audience, and they're not politicians. You know, they are people that maybe if they agree with you, you know, that's something that you can, like, maybe open somebody's mind to looking at something a different way, and that affects how they view something politically or socially. But the idea that we are political that we are political influencers is insane to me. It's like, you know, it's like when comedians do talk shows, they're not taking a political side. They weren't until recently. Yeah. Like, it's not our place. It's just like, if you want people to think you're funny, fine. If you want people to think you're smart, fine. But having somebody on your podcast like the president of the United States, doesn't matter what they are or what they represent, it's just like, it just changes the dialogue. It just really changes the dialogue of what's happening. And it's like using comedians as tools, political tools, stresses me out. I don't like, it's the same reason I wouldn't want like a corporation having a comedian as their face. It's like, we're supposed to be individual thinkers, right? That's what makes comedy good, is somebody that does think for themselves. And when you are literally being controlled by a corporation or a politician, it's like, you're not doing that. Yeah. And I think it's a bummer. And I think that it really confuses everything that, like, we think about society. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you look around today and think is worth sharing or talking about? Like, you just mentioned that comedians are commentators. Like,
yeah.
What's on your mind?
I think that, like, you know, you see I've seen a lot of great bits about, like, how crazy it is with the ICE stuff, you know? And it's like, personally, I think it's wrong. I think that what's happening is, like, a fucking travesty. And I think it's worth talking about. And I think that, like, you can make jokes that might change somebody's mind. And you can make jokes on stage about whatever you want. And you can talk about whatever you want. I think it's the difference now is that comedian is so much more of a broad term than it used to be. Whereas it would be one thing to talk about ICE on stage. It's another thing to have the president on stage with you talking about it, right? Like, that's not my place. I'm not a political correspondent, and neither is Joe Rogan, and neither is anybody that's having, like, politicians on like that. Like, they have a goal, and it's not to be funny. You know, they're trying to win an election. Yeah. And that's not comedy. I don't know. That's what bothers me about it, I guess. And there's so much worth talking about, but it's not worth talking to the president about, or talking to my government about, you know. It's like, it's just not my place for that.
I'd love to close with this, and I enjoy getting people's thoughts on how they think about success. I mean, you have an incredible arc of where you've come from and where you are now. And I wonder, when you think about the next couple of years of your life, I mean, you've already achieved things that a lot of stand-up comedians, you think you mentioned this about yourself, like it is their dream to eventually be able to work in the venues where you work.
Yeah.
What does success look like for you when you think about the next year or two of your life or in your career in general? How do you think about that word?
A body of work. I did an album a few years ago. I wanted to shoot a special next year. I want to I like the idea that if anybody wants to find something about me, it's out there. Or not about me, like see something I've done, it's out there. I've done a few tapings. Again, the album, like I've got podcasts out there. Like I just want to create more and more. And I think I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm not necessarily as concerned about money in comedy. Like I am also, luckily, I don't have a job right now where I like need to be in a place where I need to go back to an office. But like, I'm also a big believer in like, this does not have to be your living. If you can create and it's going to help you to have something more stable, do it. Like, I think that success for me just means that I can create what I want when I want and not have to worry about, being under somebody's thumb. That's what success looks like to me. I think so many people are focused on, I want 1 million followers on the internet. I want this, that, and the other. And it's not necessarily bad. That is the reality of what the business is now. But it's like, it just wasn't that when I started. And I would like those things too. But like the goal is to create. And I really do. And maybe I'm wrong. I really do believe if you just do your thing long enough, people that want to find it will. And I'd rather have people find me that want to find me and stick around and see me every time I go to their town than 1 million people that may not see another clip I do because their algorithm's going to show them cats or whatever. It's like, I want people that actually want to see me more than random folks that just followed me for a viral clip.
By dedicating yourself to the craft, it sounds like.
Yeah, and just making more shit. Because I do a lot that I know will not make me any money, and I know that going into it, but it's like, this is how I'm going to generate material that will eventually, it all feeds itself. And I think people have a hard time recognizing that the work begets more work. And yeah.
Max, this was awesome.
This was so fun.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Dan. This is awesome.
My pleasure.